Hey, welcome back to Socialette. This is episode 255. Now, today I'm talking all things webinars. I love webinars. It's no secret. I know I often tell you that you don't have to do a webinar, but I'm a big believer that webinars are a very effective launch event that you can use to kick off your launch. So now, to be completely clear, I'm talking about live webinars here. So a webinar that's done on a platform like Zoom or Webinar Jam or Demio, or, I might do another episode one day actually comparing the different webinar platforms, because there are a lot of them and I've tried pretty much all of them at some stage. Some of them I've had tech issues with, others I just haven't really liked them that much. But yeah, anyway, that's a whole nother episode for another day. Now, anyway, so some of the benefits of running a live webinar are applicable to Facebook Lives as well. But the reason that I recommend webinars over a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live is because people need to register, right? So by registering, just the simple act of registering, they are committing to showing up rather than just clicking attending for yet another Facebook Live that they probably will forget about and not show up to, okay? So this episode, I'm sharing 5 reasons why webinars work so well when you're launching something. So firstly, you're there live, and this builds connection really fast, right? Because it's almost like you're in the same room as your audience, like you're speaking to them on stage. And if you have an international audience, this is as close as you'll get to being in the same room with everyone at the same time, right? They are getting to spend an hour hanging out with you. They're getting to know you as a person. So being live on a webinar builds connection a heck of a lot faster than any Instagram post or Facebook ad or email to your list can do, okay? Secondly, webinars create a really fun community vibe. I love it when I'm hosting a webinar and people start having separate conversations in the chat box. I think it's awesome when they do that because they're all in the same boat. They're all dealing with the same challenges, the same struggles. They're all in the same place at the same time, right? Now, in one of my recent podcast launch masterclasses, I actually had one person a comment in the chat box that she had just launched her podcast. And somebody else who was attending replied to her and said, hey, can you share a link to your podcast so we can listen? And then a bunch of them went and downloaded her episodes, which I thought that was really cool. And I didn't even have to prompt them to do this. This was just genuine connection between people who are attending the same masterclass. So just because you know all of the people in your audience doesn't mean that they know each other, right? So getting them all onto the webinar at the same time is a great way to show your audience that there are other people in the same boat. They're not the only ones struggling with that particular problem, that particular challenge. And it starts to foster that awesome feeling of community, which there's just nothing else like that. Okay, reason number 3, you get really good social proof if people buy live on your webinar. Now, social proof is this concept that we look to the actions of others to inform our own decisions. And what I've found happens quite a lot on webinars is when somebody purchases, if say you're promoting an online course at the end of your webinar, if somebody purchases that while they're live on the webinar, often they'll post in the chat box and say, yay, I'm in, or I've purchased, right? So from a social proof perspective, this is incredible because everyone else who is there will see that this person purchased, and that makes them much more likely to do so. Reason number 4, you can answer buyer objections live. Now, I'm sure you've experienced buyer objections in the past. Usually these are disguised as questions, things like, oh, I'm a service-based business. Will this work for me? Or one of the big objections that I get asked all the time is, why do you charge in US dollars when you live in Australia? Which I'm actually going to record an episode on this next month because I get asked this question all the freaking time. But anyway, the amazing thing about a live webinar is that you can address these objections in the live Q&A at the end. You can help someone figure out if your product is the right fit for them or not while they're still live on the webinar. Okay, so they can take action while they're still excited and motivated. Reason number 5, it creates urgency to buy. Now, I have talked a little bit about the concept of urgency in past episodes on this podcast and why it's really important. But in a nutshell, really, it's because we're procrastinators as humans, right? We tend to put off buying something for as long as possible because, like, obviously we want to keep the money in our bank accounts as long as possible, or, we'll have more money next week. Those sorts of things pop up. So when you're running a webinar, I always recommend having a special bonus for people who purchase live on the webinar. This creates that urgency for them to take action now. Otherwise, they'll lose out on that particular bonus, and it stops them from sitting on the fence. Now, I know like some of you are like, oh, but that's a little bit like you don't feel comfortable with that fast action bonus because it feels a little bit like salesy, snake oil salesman kind of tactic. But just remember, it all comes back to the fact that when they buy your course or your membership or whatever, they're buying a solution to a problem that they have. So by giving them that incentive to take action, you're helping them because you're helping them solve something that they're struggling with. It's not about making money and selling. Like, I mean, yes, obviously you need to make money for your business to survive, but it's like at its core, it's about solving a problem that they're struggling with. It's about helping people. And like that is where I believe like all of your selling should be coming from, that place of wanting to help your audience. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. Pop on over to stephtaylor.co/roadmap to download my free ebook, The Complete Roadmap for a Killer Launch. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes released every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please, I'd love it if you take a minute just to leave a quick rating and review in Apple Podcasts. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Catch you next time.